Hey there, YouTubers. So this is my lunch break. You could say I've got my Food Not Bombs burrito here. I get a bunch of these on Friday and try to make them last. And then I showed you I also have Soylent to. It's a good diet. I'm not complaining. And sometimes I have other things too. It's not like I live exclusively on those things, but I try to keep my expenses low so I can stay effective here. I do have the post-mortem blog entry now where I do the two-part video on what happened with my local community center concept that didn't work. I was trying to piggyback on the Methodists having an empty church, but it was a shot in the dark. It wasn't gonna too many logistical issues, but the ideas are still good. That's what I'm trying to get across. The thing though is this concentric hierarchy I always talk about, where we sort of revamp the geometry curriculum a little bit. It's not like we throw everything away, but we definitely make room for this kind of polyhedral accounting using a tetrahedron. And we link it directly to Fuller and we explain that he thought it was super important, even if we have dismissed it as irrelevant for whatever reasons. We do want them to understand history. So it's kind of worth going through this material, if only to talk about how it's important in American literature and history, that you can't really understand a lot of the intellectual currents and what's been going on, who's been challenging whom, if you don't follow the story, right? So this has been a story. There's a lot of books. I'm not talking about just my website, although that's what I'm showing here. It's been around since the 90s. Applewhite was pretty excited about my contribution, and I think I've kept it up. But if we look at YouTube, so who's doing stuff about this whole number of volumes? I see Lou Scholl comes at the top when I do concentric hierarchy polyhedrons as my search term. He's a member of our Quaker meeting, and he listened to me talk, came to the Pauling House a couple times, and came out with a pretty good video just giving the generic idea of these concentric hierarchy. Now, of course, we all know what polyhedrons are. It's not like you don't know what they are if you don't see them arranged in this way or something. It's just unit volume tetrahedron and all that. It is its own meme. It has its own integrity. So I saw Marvin talk once at founding of SNEC, we called it. Applewhite was there. Applewhite and I weren't sure what to make of him exactly. And then another guy named Tom Miller further down is doing something called Synergetics 3. Notice there's nothing else, though, about the concentric hierarchy, really. I haven't found Tom Miller yet. But he's not necessarily just passing on what Fuller was teaching, right? He's got some newer stuff, I guess. That's why he calls it Synergetics 3. Here's Buckminster Fuller's Jitterbug. Here's Tom Miller. So he's standing here doing his talk, Informal Introduction to Synergetics 3, and he's got a lot of polyhedrons here, so I guess...
What it is the midpoints.
That looks pretty good. I like that stuff. So there's Tom Miller, there's me, and there's Lou Scholl putting concentric hierarchy stuff. And I guess that's it. I don't see anything else here. And that seems an oversight because there is so much literature pegged on understanding this kind of volumes table. As you've seen from my YouTubes, I hope. And if you haven't, check out my YouTubes. It's core to American literature. So as you can understand, as someone who's clinging to life here in a way with my dumpster burrito, I'd like to see my ethnicity represented as a taxpayer, as someone in this culture, I'm pretty alienated. That's why I call it Martian math, because it's alien. It's like a whole different culture, whole different culture. But I think a pretty good one. It wouldn't treat people so badly, really. So think about it. Think if you want to go to the school of tomorrow instead of the school of today. Talk to your university about it too. You know, especially if you've paid a lot. Why didn't they teach you this? They'll have a good reason, I'm sure. I'm eager to hear it. Talk to you soon.